The rifle cracked like thunder in the still autumn air. But it wasn't the buck we'd been tracking that hit the ground. It was my Uncle Elijah, crumpling to his knees in the leaf-strewn underbrush, his face pale as the frost-kissed ferns around us. "Aiden," he gasped, clutching his chest not from a wound but from the weight of words he'd carried for decades. "I'm gay. God help me. I've been lying to everyone. To myself. For so damn long." I froze, the deer's shadow vanishing into the twilight woods of the Smoky Mountains, my heart pounding louder than the echo of that shot, wondering if the real hunt had just begun, for truth, for forgiveness, for whatever shattered pieces of family we had left. That confession hung between us like the smoke from my barrel, thick and impossible to ignore. We'd driven up from Knoxville that morning, just the two of us, fleeing the suffocating grip of Thanksgiving prep back home. My mom, Elijah's sister, had roped him into this bonding trip to toughen me up after my latest breakup, the one with Sarah that left me questioning everything about love and who I even was. At 22, fresh out of community college with a dead-end job slinging burgers at Chili's, I felt like a ghost in my own life. Elijah, 45, was the family rock, ex-Marine, widower to Aunt Clara who died of cancer 5 years back, the guy who fixed our roof in a blizzard and grilled the best ribs at every barbecue. Gay? It didn't compute. Not in our Bible Belt corner of Tennessee, where family values meant straight lines and locked closets. We'd hiked for hours that day, boots crunching over rhododendron roots slick with morning dew, the air sharp with pine and the faint rot of fallen leaves. Elijah led the way, his broad shoulders cutting through the mist like he owned the trail, which, in a way, he did. He'd grown up in these hills, hunting with our granddad before the old man keeled over from a heart attack mid-season. "Keeps a man honest," Elijah always said, slapping my back with that calloused hand. Honest. The word tasted bitter now as we trudged back to camp, my mind reeling. I wanted to ask a million questions. When? Who? Why now? But my tongue felt glued down by shock and the chill seeping through my Carhartt jacket. By the time we reached the fire pit, dusk had bled into night, stars punching holes in the ink-black sky. I sparked the kindling while Elijah unpacked the cooler, his movements deliberate, like he was handling grenades. We sat on logs we dragged over earlier, the flames licking up to warm our faces, casting long shadows that danced like accusations. "You gonna say something, kid? Or just stare at me like I grew horns?" His voice was gravelly, laced with that East Tennessee drawl that could charm a snake or cut like a switchblade. I poked the fire with a stick, sparks swirling up like fleeing secrets. "Uncle Eli. Shit. Gay? Like, for real? Mom's gonna lose her mind. Dad already thinks you're some kind of saint." The words tumbled out harsher than I meant, laced with the fear I'd swallowed whole. Our family was a patchwork quilt of contradictions. Church every Sunday, football on Saturdays, and whispers about Cousin Tommy's phase that ended with him shipped off to conversion camp at 16. Elijah had been the anchor, the one who never wavered. If he broke, what did that say about the rest of us? He chuckled, low and without humor, pulling the flask from his pack and taking a swig of bourbon that smelled like regret. "Saint? Hell, Aiden, I've been playing the part so long I forgot the lines." Clara knew, God rest her. We had an understanding. She was my best friend, the mother of my kids. But love, real love, that was never the script. His eyes, the same stormy gray as mine, fixed on the fire, reflecting flames that didn't touch the cold knot in his gut. It started back in Nam, or close enough. Basic training at Fort Benning. There was this boy, man, really named Marcus. Black kid from Detroit, built like a linebacker but with hands that could thread a needle. We were bunkmates, thick as thieves in the mud and the drills. I leaned forward, the heat prickling my skin, drawn in despite myself. Elijah rarely talked war stories. They were buried with his Purple Heart under lock and key. What happened? My voice was barely above the crackle of logs. He passed me the flask, and I took a pull, the burn steadying my nerves. We happened. Stolen moments in the latrine, under the cover of night marches. Kisses that tasted like fear and freedom. But the Corps don't tolerate that shit. Don't ask. Don't tell was a joke even then. Whispers. Investigations. Marcus got shipped out after some brass caught wind. I never saw him again. Heard he went AWOL. Ended up in Leavenworth. That broke something in me. Aiden. I came home. Married Clara to fit the mold. Had Jake and Lily. Built the garage. Coached Little League. But every night, staring at the ceiling, I'd wonder where Marcus was, if he hated me for not fighting harder. The fire popped, sending an ember onto my boot. I stamped it out, the small act of control grounding me. Jake and Lily, my cousins, were the golden kids. Jake in med school up in Nashville, Lily married with a toddler. They'd idolize Elijah, same as I did. Do they know? I asked, the question fragile as a fawn's leg. Not yet. You're the first. Figured if I was gonna crack, it'd be out here, away from the judging eyes. He rubbed his beard, flecked with silver, and for the first time, I saw the weariness etched deep, like ruts in an old logging road. Your mom. She'll pray it away. Your dad'll pretend it ain't so. But you, Aiden, you've got that look. Like you're carrying your own ghosts. I looked away, into the dark woods where the buck had fled. Ghosts. Yeah. Sarah had been my shield. The pretty girl from high school who made prom photos look normal. But late nights scrolling Grindr on my burner phone, heart racing at faceless profiles, that was the truth I'd buried. I don't know what to say, Uncle Eli. It's a lot. He nodded, clapping a hand on my knee. Brotherly, not loaded. Don't say nothing yet. Just sit with it. Worlds full of men like us, hiding in plain sight. But tonight, we're just two fools by a fire, drinking bad bourbon and chasing shadows. We talked then, halting at first, then pouring out like the flask. He told me about the bars in Atlanta he'd sneak to on business trips, the ache of hookups that left him emptier. I confessed the panic attacks after Sarah dumped me for not being passionate enough, the way I'd stare at guys in the gym locker room, wondering. Dawn crept in slow, painting the ridges gold, and by the time we broke camp, something had shifted, not fixed, but cracked open, letting light in. Back home, the illusion held for a week. Mom buzzed around the kitchen, prepping turkey and cornbread dressing, her apron dusted with flour like fresh snow. How was the hunt? Boys? Bag anything? Dad grunted from the recliner, eyes on the Vols game, cores in hand. Elijah and I exchanged a glance over the pie crust, our secret, fragile as eggshell. Missed the buck, I said, forcing a grin. But we got stories, he smirked, flipping channels. That night, After the family feast bloated us into lethargy, I found him on the back porch, staring at the fireflies winking in the yard. "Aiden," he murmured as I sat beside him, "there's more. The reason I told you? It's not just confession. It's warning." My stomach twisted. Warning. He lit a cigarette, rare for him, a vice from his smoking days, and exhaled slow. "Jake called last night. He's struggling. Med school's grinding him down, and there's a boy. His roommate. Jake's scared, same as I was. If I don't step up, he'll drown in it alone." The weight of that hit me, my cousin, the straight-A prodigy, wrestling the same demons. Betrayal flickered, not from Elijah, but from the family that preached love but doled out silence. The next days blurred into tension. Mom cornered me in the laundry room, her hands wringing a dish towel like a neck. "Your uncle seems off, Aiden. Distant. You notice anything on that trip?" Her eyes, sharp as a hawk's, searched mine. I mumbled something about stress, heart hammering. Dad, oblivious or willfully blind, slapped Elijah on the back at dinner. "Good to have you home, brother. Family's what matters." Elijah's smile didn't reach his eyes. Then the storm broke. It was Black Friday, the house a whirlwind of shopping bags and sibling squabbles. Lily arrived with her husband and baby, cooing over pie while Elijah bounced the kid on his knee, his laugh booming. But Jake pulled up late, disheveled, duffel slung over his shoulder like armor. He hugged me fierce, whispering, "Need to talk, cuz." We slipped out to the garage, amid the smell of oil and sawdust, where Elijah's tools hung like sentinels. "Uncle Eli told me," I blurted, no preamble. Jake's face crumpled, tears carving tracks down his stubbled cheeks. "About you? Or me?" he paced, kicking a paint can that clattered like judgment. "Evan, my roommate, he's everything. But Dad would disown me. Mom's prayers feel like chains. I can't breathe. Aiden." I pulled him into a hug, our shoulders shaking in sync. "He told me 'cause he sees it in you. We're not alone." But even as I said it, doubt gnawed. Was this the betrayal? Dragging Jake into the open, risking the family's fragile peace? That night, Elijah gathered us, me, Jake, and a reluctant Lily, in the den after everyone crashed. The Christmas lights twinkled mockingly on the mantel, casting red and green shadows. "Kids," he started, voice steady as a drumbeat, "life's too short for closets. I'm gay. Been so since before you were sparks in your mama's eye." And Jake, "Son, I know about Evan. It's okay. It's you." Lily gasped, hand to mouth, but not in horror, in recognition. "Dad." I suspected. "After Mom. The way you looked at that guy at the cookout last summer." Tears welled, but she reached for his hand. Jake sobbed, raw and releasing, collapsing into Elijah's arms. I stood back, chest tight, the room electric with unspoken years. But peace? It was a lie. Dawn brought the reckoning. Mom found us like that, tangled in confession, and the dam burst. "What in God's name?" she shrieked, Bible thumping the coffee table like a gavel. Dad stormed in, face thunderous. "Eli, tell me this ain't true. Your family. This perversion. It'll ruin us." Words flew like buckshot. Sodom, sin, Shame. Elijah stood tall, voice cracking but unbowed. Ruin? Hiding ruined me, Tom. Clara died knowing my truth. Loving me anyway. You want to cast stones? Start with your own glass house. Betrayal sliced deep then. Not just Elijah's secret, but Dad's hypocrisy. I'd overheard him once, years back, on the phone with an old army buddy, voice husky with something unspoken. Mom's sobs echoed, "My brother. My blood." Jake fled to his room, Lily mediating with pleas for grace. I cornered Dad in the hall, fists clenched. You gonna throw him away? After everything? He's the best of us. He deflated, shoulders slumping like a punctured tire. Aiden, it's not that simple. The church, the neighbors, but his eyes, haunted, betrayed the lie. By evening, the house was a war zone of slammed doors and silent treatments. Elijah packed a bag, jaw set. I'll crash at the shop. Give y'all space. Don't, I begged, grabbing his arm. Fight for this. For us. He searched my face, seeing the plea not just for him, but for my own unraveling truth. You too, kid. Who's the ghost you're hiding from? The drive to his auto shop in Maryville was silent, rain sheeting the windshield like tears. The neon sign buzzed Eli's Repairs, a beacon in the downpour. Inside, amid the ghosts of transmissions and tire stacks, he poured coffee black as midnight. Truth time, Aiden. That breakup with Sarah wasn't about passion. It was about pretending. I nodded, the dam in me cracking. Grinder. Late nights. Guys like, well, like you and Marcus. Strong. Real. But I'm scared shitless. What if I'm just like you? Broken. He laughed. Genuine this time, pulling me into a bear hug that smelled of motor oil and home. Broken? Nah. We're bent. Maybe. But that's where the light gets in. Marcus taught me that. Found him last year, through some vet group on Facebook. He's in Detroit, married to a fella named Ray. Happy. Invited me up, but I chickened out. The rain eased to a drizzle, and we talked till the pot ran dry about first crushes, the terror of touch, the ache of acceptance. By morning, a text from Jake, Evan's coming down. We talk. Lily followed. Mom's praying. Dad's quiet. Hold the line. The climax hit that weekend. A powder keg at the family lake house up in Gatlinburg. Dad called a summit, neutral ground amid the cabins and whispering pines. We arrived piecemeal. Mom clutching her rosary, Dad nursing a flask, Lily with baby on hip, Jake hand in hand with Evan, a lanky med student with kind eyes and a nervous smile. Elijah and I pulled up last, my truck rumbling like my gut. The dock creaked under our weight, lake water lapping like uneasy breaths. Dad started, voice gruff, this family's fracturing. Eli, I get it. War changes a man. But this lifestyle, it's a choice, right? We can fix it. Elijah's laugh was bitter fog on the chill air. Choice? Tom, I chose duty. Chose Clara. Chose silence to keep you from looking at me like I'm the devil. But love? That's no choice. It's gravity. He turned to Mom, softening. Sis, you raised me better than hate. Remember when we were kids, hiding in the barn from Pa's belt? We promised no more secrets. Mom wept, reaching for him, but Dad exploded. Gravity? It's a goddamn fall from grace. What about the kids? The legacy? Betrayal peaked there, his own buried truth spilling in rage. You think you're alone, Eli? That night in Kuwait, with Ramirez. I get it. But I chose right. Married Ellen. Built this. The dock went still, wind howling through the trees. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Tom? Jake stepped forward, voice steel. Dad. It's not a choice. Evan's my heart. Uncle Eli's my hero. You gonna burn it all? I couldn't stay silent. Dad. You're betraying us all. Hiding to fit some mold. We're family, flaws and all. The words hung. Then Dad crumpled, sitting heavy on the weathered boards. God damn it. I didn't mean. I love you, Eli. All of you. Just scared. The unraveling turned to mending, slow as sap from a pine. Hugs. Halting apologies. Questions laced with grace. Evan shared his story coming out in high school, losing friends but gaining self. Lily admitted her college fling with a woman, tucked away like a pressed flower. By nightfall, around a bonfire on the shore, laughter crept in, tentative as fireflies. Elijah and Dad clinked beers, shoulders brushing in brotherhood reborn. Mom prayed not for cures, but for courage. Me, in the embers' glow, I swiped open my phone, deleted the burner app. No more shadows. Uncle Eli, I murmured as stars wheeled overhead. That buck we missed? Think we can track it tomorrow? He grinned, arm around my shoulders. Hell yeah, kid. But this time, we hunt together. Weeks blurred into healing. Christmas came softer, with Jake and Evan under the mistletoe. Mom's eyes misty but warm. Dad joined a vet support group, whispers of Ramirez turning to toasts. Elijah drove to Detroit that spring, Marcus and Ray welcoming him with open arms and a barbecue that lasted till dawn. Photos flooded my feed. Elijah beaming, unburdened, a rainbow flag pinned to his jacket like a new Purple Heart. For me, summer brought clarity. At a Knoxville Pride event, rainbow flags snapping in the heat, I met Lucas, a barista with freckles and a laugh like summer thunder. Our first kiss, under the Gay Street arch, tasted like possibility. No closets, no hunts in the dark. Elijah walked me through it all. His story's a map. The pain of betrayal, the thrill of truth, the quiet romance of simply being. Now, 2 years on, as I pack for my own trip, Lucas and me, chasing elk in Colorado, Elijah's voice echoes from that Smoky Mountain fire. Love ain't a straight line, Aiden. It's the bend that makes the view. Families mended, scars faded to stories. And me, speechless no more. Amazed, every damn day.